All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, where we got some pretty big news with Shakor Stevenson, as Shakor Stevenson leaves Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn behind in preparation for his fight with William Zepeda. What does this mean for his future with DAZN? What does it mean for his future with fighting Gervonta Davis? Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division. Man, Shakor Stevenson, according to Brunch Boxing, has left Matchroom Boxing, I do believe, after one fight. It's a wrap. What does that mean moving forward, as he apparently has signed with Ludabella of Ludabella Entertainment? Now, before I get into the details, please, thank you so much and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. If you're a longtime supporter, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody that supports, and the super thanks of the videos like this. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. Shakor Stevenson is a bit of an enigma, man, because he has moved in three. Will have had three different promoters in his last three fights. I do believe the first one was his fight, the last fight that he had with Top Rank. I do believe he had one fight under Eddie Hearn's Matchroom, and now he's leaving Eddie Hearn's Matchroom to go to Ludabella Entertainment. This is a very, very interesting move, as Shakor Stevenson is a major fighter. And this is the first major fighter that I know of in a while to sign outside of Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn. Frank Warren is more over there in the UK, but in the United States, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, and Oscar De La Hoya. Ludabella is a very, very good promoter, but I think this is one of the biggest signings that he's had in a while. If you're not familiar with Ludabella used to run HBO Boxing, and in the early phases of Premier Boxing Champions, before there was a kind of fallout with Ludabella, I believe, and the PBC over Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury negotiations, or Anthony Joshua negotiations, when DAZN tried to steal Deontay Wilder away from the PBC and take him to DAZN, it wound up causing a rift between the PBC and Ludabella. But before that, Ludabella was one of the biggest promoters that was working with the PBC. Ludabella is also outside of New York, very well known, very obviously knows what he's doing in the sport of boxing. But he's not somebody that really does put on real big shows in and of himself. So he's going to be somebody that is going to be putting Shakor Stevenson on shows that are supported by other people. One of the most recent people that Ludabella had promoted was in a co-promotional deal with the former lightweight champion George Cambosus. And I think Ludabella has done a fantastic job with George Cambosus' career. But I'm not quite sure what Shakor Stevenson is looking for out of Ludabella. I'm not sure, and also we don't know what the deal is, how many fights it is, but it definitely, I think, improves the opportunity or the chances that there's going to be more flexibility between networks for Shakor Stevenson at the very least, because Ludabella is not exclusive to DAZN. Ludabella can put on fights with fighters on any network, which allows Shakor Stevenson to do well, to work with Eddie Hearn. It should allow him to work with Turki Al-Sheikh. It should allow him to work with Al Heyman, and it should allow him to work with Oscar De La Hoya, and also you have and Ludabella. You have one of the most seasoned promoters in the game, so there's not going to be anything getting slipped past Ludabella in the contracts. Ludabella is not somebody that has a reputation for being a manipulative person or a dishonest person. The only thing that really had ever happened that I heard about Ludabella was, again, what I had mentioned before, that there was an issue with taking Deontay Wilder to over to DAZN, and Skipper, I can't remember what Skipper's last name is, but he was a former president of ESPN, taking Deontay Wilder over there and potentially having Deontay Wilder signed away from the PBC. Other than that, I think the dude has a very, very, very clean record, and he also has a very good record of getting fighters championship fights and working in between multiple other networks, right? Because again, he's been able to work with Al Heyman. He's been able to work with Eddie Hearn in the past. He's been able to work with Turki Al-Sheikh. But also, if you pay attention to some of the verbiage that Ludabella has used in the last few months about Turki Al-Sheikh, you have to kind of think that this is a little bit of a way for Shakor Stevenson to shore up his conversations with Turki Al-Sheikh. Now, you recall that there was an issue about what Shakor Stevenson was going to get paid for his next fight with William Zepeda, and how it was kind of arbitrary what Turki Al-Sheikh was going to pay him, whether he was going to pay him the original amount in the contract, or he felt like it needed to be he needed to pay him less money because the fight was going to be in the UK, or the fight was going to be in the US, and it was not going to be in Saudi Arabia, and that could have been the reason. And then Shakor Stevenson came out and said it was a miscommunication with our team. Well, who's the team? The team is Eddie Hearn, clearly. So now it looks like he's walking off and stepping off from Eddie Hearn. Don't have a problem with that. Ludabella should be able to step right in. Now, my main thing is, how are we going to get the fights between with the PBC fighters, specifically these fighters? You have now you have Keyshawn Davis, who is signed. I do believe he's an ambassador to the Ring magazine, but he's still with Top Rank. Then you got the lightweight division all spread out, because you have the PBC in Gervonta Davis. You have Ludabella with Shakor Stevenson, and then you have the two of them with Top Rank, and Vasily Lomachenko. Don't know when and if Lomachenko is going to come out and fight again. And obviously Keyshawn Davis, is with Top Rank. So this really just splits up the picture a good bit. But again, Ludabella is somebody that has a good reputation and has a proven track record of working with other people. So hopefully that will allow Shakor Stevenson to move around with these other promotional companies, but do it in a way that makes sense for everybody involved and doesn't wind up burning down. You don't wind up in a situation where Shakor Stevenson's burning down bridges and he winds up kind of just getting swept up under the rug. All in all, though, probably a good deal for Shakor to get away from Eddie Hearn. I can see Eddie Hearn and those guys pulling out of the United States. I don't think that Jaron Ennis is going to be with him much longer. And I think boxing is going to go back to the way that it really kind of should be. Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren focusing on the UK, American promoters focusing on the American Boxing Network. And when there's big fights that can be made between the two, cool. But man, it's the idea that Eddie Hearn coming over here and Turki Al-Sheikh coming over here and trying to bash and mess up a system that's not functioning very well to begin with, right? I don't think that it has really been it's not been the most effective manner about going about fixing boxing. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.